Let us now start with the project. In this, we are going to see how to display date. So here I am having progress bar. Below that I am having simple text, and here I am having counter, and accordingly my default date is displayed. Now I will just increase the value. Now you can see one day from today is Thursday, November 24, 2050. And if I have updated something, my reset button is enabled. Again, when I increase 2 days from now, again when I increase, it keeps on going, and accordingly date will be displayed. If I go to 0, then I will be having today's date. If I go -1, then I will have one day ago was Tuesday, November 22, 2050. If I am having 0, then I will have today is 23, 2050. If I update something, only then I will be having my reset button. And here I am having this progress bar. I will just increase this step to 6. Now when I increase on this, now I will have 7 days from today is. Again when I click, so each and every time value 6 will be added to our counter. Why? Because my step is 6. Again I can increase till 10. Now when I click on this, I will be having 23. Again when I click on this, I will be having 33. Again I will click. So in this way, we are going to see how to update the date, and also based on the value, how to display different kind of string. And also we are going to see how to work with this progress bar. So this entire project we will be creating first inside useState, and after that we are going to convert this entire project using useReducer hook. Now inside this project folder, inside src, I will be creating one folder. Here I will give display date. Inside this I will create one file. I will give displaydate.js. Then inside app.js, I'm just going to render that. You can also create separate React app, but as of now, I'm just going to create on this same file. I will copy, remove this entire thing, paste. Then from this file, I just want to import this display.js. So successfully, I have rendered my display date component. Now I will come inside this display date. So this display date I am using inside app.js. So it is important to export this component. So here I will write export, and I will be doing default export. Here I will write export default function display date, and inside this I will write return, and here I will write h1. Simply I will be writing hello. Save it. Come here. Successfully I am able to display hello. And inside app.css, I have already given the styling. Accordingly, you can give your own styling, or you can continue with this React concept. So first, let us work on creating the static data. I will remove this entire h1. Instead, I will be creating div, and for this div, I will give the class as container. Inside this, I will be creating another div, and for this, I will give the class as step-container. Then first what I just want progress bar. So for that progress bar, inside HTML, we are having type as range. Save it. Let me show you. Now you can see progress bar is displayed. But inside this, we can also give maximum and minimum values. I will come down. Here I will be writing minimum. Minimum I will give it as 0. You have to pass a string. Then maximum I will be giving as 10. Now I will save, refresh this one. Now here you will not be able to see the values, but later on when we just convert this input to control element, then accordingly you will be able to see the value. And for this I will be giving the class name. I will give as range-input. Now save it. Now you can see successfully I am able to display this progress bar. Now below this, what I want to do, I just want to create one span, and for this I will keep the class as step label. Here simply I will write step. As of now, I will simply write 1. Now you can see here text is displayed and also default value is displayed. Now below this div container, below this step container, I will be creating another div, and for this I will keep the class as counter-container. Inside this, first what I just want to display the button. So here I will write button. For this I will give the class as btn. I will pass minus. Now you can see successfully I am able to display the button. Below that I will copy same thing. Instead of minus I will be writing plus. Save. Now successfully I am able to display both the buttons. Now in between I just want to display input field. I will write input, and for this I will give the class as counter-input. Save it. Come here. Now you can see successfully I am able to display minus button, input field as well as plus button. Later on we are going to display the value as well, but let us continue with the static structure. Below this div, below this counter container, I will be creating paragraph, and for this paragraph I will give the class as date-display. And inside this I will write span. Here I will write today is, and after that below this span I will be creating one more span, and for this I will give the text as Monday. Save it. Simply what I want to display, if I am having default date, then I want to display this text today is Monday, and accordingly date has to be displayed. Let me just come here, refresh this. Now you can see here I am having today is Monday. I will give one space. Now I am having today is Monday text. And finally, in our static structure, we also have reset button, but that button has to be displayed if there is any update in our UI. But as of now, in our static structure, we are going to display that button. I will write div, and inside this, I will be giving the class as btn, as well as I will give the class as reset-btn. Inside this, I will pass the text as reset. Now you can see successfully we have created a static structure. Accordingly, you can give your own styling. So here I am having progress bar. Below that I am having text. Here I am having decrement button, input field, increment button. Then I am having one text to display my date. And finally I am having reset button. Now let us start working on a state. So first we are going to work on this progress bar. So I'll just come down. For this progress bar, we have given step container. So what we will do, we will create the state const. Here I will write step, then I will write set step, and here I will be using use state. Initially, what I want to display, I just want to display value 1. So initially, I just want to set 1. So that is the reason default value I have given as 1. So once we are using useState, it is important we import that useState from React library. Now what I want to do, this one I have to display inside this input field. Now what we are doing, we are just making this input field as controlled element, so that this input field will be controlled by React and all the state update logic will be in one central place, and that will be managed by React. So now here I will be writing value. Inside this I will be passing step. Now save it. Now you can see my progress bar is here, which means now the value is 1. And also whatever updation I am doing, accordingly I just have to display the value here. So here also I will be passing step. Now if I just change it to 6, Save it. Now you can see my progress bar is here and also step is changed to 6. I will change the default value to 1. Save it. Accordingly, I will be having the result. Now after that, what I want, whenever I am changing something inside the progress bar, using onChange event handler, I just want to set the value. So here I will be writing onChange event handler, and inside this I will be passing event object. Then using this setter function, I just want to access the value. So here I will write e.target.value. Save it. Refresh this. Initially my value is 1. I will just increase this. My value is 2. Increase 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each and every time whenever I am updating the value, onChange event handler will be called, and accordingly using this setter function, I am just updating this value. So once this value is updated, accordingly that value will be displayed on my UI. Then next we are going to work on this counter. So for that I will be creating another state. Here I will write const. Here I will be writing count. Then I'm just going to write set count is equal to use state initial value. I'm just going to give as 0. Why? Because this value I just want to display on my input field. Now I will come here. Whenever I click on this button, I just want to update my state. So here I will write on click. So whenever I click on this button, I just want to update my counter value. So here I will write set count, and using the initial state, I just want to update my value. Here I will write C, then C minus 1. Save it. Initially my value is 0. Let me come here. Refresh this. Nothing will be displayed. Why? Because inside this input field, we have not displayed any data. So here, now I will come to input field. I will be writing value is equal to count. So what I have done, whenever I am clicking on this button, using this setter function, I am decreasing the value of my state. Now I will come here, -4 is displayed. Let me refresh. Initially it is 0. I will click on this -1, -2, -3, -4. So it keeps on going. Similarly, whenever I click on this plus button, each and every time I just want to increase the value by 1. I will copy same thing. Here I will be pasting. In place of minus, I will be writing plus. Now refresh this. Click on this. Each and every time I am able to increase the value by 1. And when I click on this, each and every time I am able to decrease the value by 1. But here, if I just increase the step, and when I click on this plus, accordingly, whatever step value I am having, based on that, my value has to be increased. So here, what we will do, instead of writing -1 and +1, whatever step value we are having, using that value, we are going to subtract the number, and using that value, we are going to add the number. So here I will write C -1, and here for plus, I will be writing C plus 1. Now I will come here. Initially it is 0. I will click on this. So each and every time it will be increasing by 1. Why? Because my step is 1. Now here I will change to 7. Now you will see the problem. As soon as I increase, 7 is added here. But I should be having 6 plus 7, that is 13. But instead I got this result. So here what happens, whatever data we got from this progress bar, that is nothing but string. So when we are having number and string, it is just going to concatenate. It will not be added. Instead, numbers will be concatenated. So that is the reason I got the result as 67, which is nothing but string. So here what we will do, whenever we are updating this state, this entire value we are just going to wrap inside number function, or you can simply add plus here in this way. Now I will refresh, increase, add. Now you can see I will be having the result, but mostly I will be using number function, and this entire thing I will be wrapping inside number function. Now I will refresh each and every time when I am increasing whatever step value I am having, that will be added. Now I will increase the step value to 7. Now as soon as I increase, I will be having 17. Now that entire value I have converted to number. So accordingly, I will be having the correct result. But if you see here, I am able to increase the value as well as I am able to decrease the value. But I will not be able to update this input field. Even if I do backspace, this value will not be removed. Why? Because that value is set inside this value attribute. So what I have to do? Now I have to pass on change event handler. Why? Because we are making this input field as control element. So React should be controlling this input field. Again, same process. You should always follow this as a recipe. Here I will be passing event object. Then using this set count, here again I will be using number function e dot target dot value. Save it. Come here. Refresh this. I will increase. Now I will be able to remove. You can see default value is set, and here I can type the values. So you should be very careful. Whenever we are making our input field as control element, we should always follow this recipe. First, we have to create the state. Then we have to use the state, and using our setter function, we have to update our state. Now finally, let us work on our displaying date. So we are going to work on this part. So what I will do, using JavaScript logic, above this I will be creating one variable date, and here I'm just going to pass the new date. Here I will write new date. Default I will write 23rd November 2050, and this entire thing we should be passing as a string. So I have passed 23rd November 2050 as my default date. Now below this I will log. Here I will be writing date. I will come here, inspect this. Now inside that you can see I am having Wednesday, November 23, 2050. Now what I want to do, I just want to set my date by accessing the date. So let me show you how you will be doing. Below this I will write date dot set date, and inside this I will write date dot get date. This is nothing to do with React. It is simply normal JavaScript. And here, whatever count value I am having, I am just going to add that count value. Let me just bring this date down. Save it. Come here. Refresh this. Increase. Now you can see I am having step as 3 and my count is 0. So I am having this result. I will increase the value. Now accordingly, I am able to access this result. Again, I will increase the value. I will be able to access the result. So each and every time what I am doing, I am just adding 3. That is my count, and that 3 will be added to my date, and I will be having this result. Again, when I click on this, 3 will be added, and I will be having this Friday, December 2. And again, I will click. Now I will have Monday, December 5. So each and every time I am just adding my count to date. I will remove this entire thing, and if you just hover on this, you will be able to see it is going to set numeric day of the month value of a day object using local time. And here using this, we can get day of the month using local time. And for that, we are just adding our count variable. I will just remove this entire thing. Now I will come here. Now what I want to do, whatever result I got, I just want to display in readable data. So here I will write date dot to date string. Okay, this is the method using which we are going to return date as a string value. Now I will save. You can see successfully I am able to display this result which can be easily read by human. I will refresh this. Now I am having today is Wednesday, November 23, 2015. So whatever default value I have given, accordingly, today is, and using this method, I am able to display this value. Again, I will click today is Thursday. Again, I will click each and every time I am able to change the result. But apart from changing the date, I also want to work on this text. I do not want to display today is for each and every day. If the date is larger than default date, then I should display one day from today is. If the date is lesser than default date, then I should display one day ago was. So in that way, I just have to display this date. So here, conditionally, we are just going to render this value. Now, I will just bring this text down. And here, I'm just going to use JavaScript mode. Let me just remove this today is. Instead, I will be writing count. If my count is equal to 0, then that simply means today is. So here I will write the text today is. I will remove this double quotes. And here I will be using nested ternary operators. Accordingly, you can use your own logic. But for this simple project, I will be using ternary operator. So if my count is equal to 0, then today is Monday. Else, I will be checking if my count is greater than 0. Again, I will be using ternary operator. If this condition is true, then this will be displayed. If this condition is false, I will come to else part. Inside this, I am checking for another condition. So if this is true, I will be using template string. And here I will be passing my count value. Here I will write, for example, if my count is 1, one day, here I will write one day from today is, okay, that's it. One day from today is, if it is greater than 0, then I should display this. Else, what I have to do, I simply have to write, again template literal, count 1 days ago was. For example, just imagine my count is 2. Count is equal to 0. The condition fails. I will come inside the else part. 2 is greater than 0. Yes, it is 2 day from today is. Here I will write 2 days from today is, and accordingly date will be displayed. Suppose imagine my count is -5. The condition fails. I will come here -5 greater than 0. Again the condition fails. I will come inside this -5 days ago was, accordingly date was displayed. Now I will save it. Come here, refresh this. Today is, you can see successfully I am able to display. I will click on this 1 days from today is. Again I will click 2 days from today is, 3 days from today is. Again when I click on this, -1 day ago was, but I do not want to display this minus. Instead, what I will do, this entire value, I will just wrap inside math.apps. Here I will write math.apps, and this count I will be passing as parameter, and this entire thing I will be wrapping inside JavaScript mode. Okay, this is the syntax. Now save it. Now you can see 2 days ago was Monday, November 21. 3 days ago was 4 days. So it keeps on going and negative value is removed. And after this, I will be giving the spaces. Save it. Come here. Successfully, I am able to display the result. I will increase 6 days from today is 12 days, 18 days, 24. Accordingly, I will have the result. Again, when I click on minus, successfully, I will be having the result. So this progress bar is working. We are able to display the state, and also we are able to work on this counter. Let me refresh. Now here, if my step is 1 and if this default value is 0, what I want to do, I just do not want to render my reset button. If I am doing some updation only then this reset button has to be displayed. And also, whenever I click on this reset button, it should be reset to default values. So first, let me just wrap inside JavaScript mode. And above this, I will be writing the condition if my count is not equal to 0, as well as if my step is not equal to 1, then what I have to do, let me just open this parenthesis, and inside this I'm just going to close. So this is my button. I will be closing. Else what I want to do, I just do not want to display the button. So here I will be writing null. Okay, simple enough. By default, my count will be 0 and my step will be 1. So if this is not equal to 0 and if this is not equal to 1, only then I have to display the button. If this is equal to 0 and if this is equal to 1, I do not want to display the button. Instead, I am just passing null, which means button will not be displayed. Now here, my step is 8. This condition satisfies. Now here my step is 8. 8 is not equal to 1. Yes, the condition is true and we are using OR operator. So I will come here and button will be displayed. But now as soon as I refresh, my step is not equal to 1. Condition fails. Count is not equal to 1. Condition fails. So this entire thing is going to return me false and null will be returned, which means button will not be displayed. Why? Because my step is 1 and count is 0, and here we are checking if count is not equal to 0 and step is not equal to 1, only then display this reset button, or else do not display the reset button. As soon as I increase successfully, I am able to display this reset button. But here, whenever I click on this, I should be moving to default values. So here for this button, I will be writing on click. Inside this, I will be passing this handle reset. Now I'm just going to copy this function. I will come on top. Below this, I will write function handle reset. What I will do, I will be using this set step and initial value is 1. So I'm just going to set to 1. Then I will just copy this set count, copy, paste it here. Initial value is 0. I will be passing 0. Save it. Now as soon as I click on this, you can see initial value is set to 0 and my step is 1. Now I am going to update. Click on this reset. Successfully, I am able to set the values. So this is the simple project we have created using useState, and here we are using toState for our progress bar as well as for our increment and decrement counter. Accordingly, we have performed all this operation. We have worked on controlled elements. We have passed the values, and based on this onChange event handler, we are just updating our values. And on our UI, we are displaying the state, and based on the current value of count, we are displaying different string for a date. And using this toDate string method, we are just returning our date as a string value so that it can be easily read by human. And after that, we are checking this condition to display the reset button. If the condition is true, we are going to display the reset button. If the condition is false, then simply we are not going to display the reset button. So just practice this, because later on in our next project, we are going to convert the same project using our useReducer hook.